In 2010, a devastating tsunami struck Indonesia, causing widespread destruction and loss of life. It was the biggest recorded tsunami in over 100 years. The Mentawai Islands of Indonesia were among the worst affected areas. In this demonstration, we're going to use InaSAFE to examine the impact of such a tsunami occurring again. The coastline near Sapura Jaya on one of the more than 70 Mentawai Islands will be used as an example. Using population data from AsiaPop as our exposure layer, we can use InaSAFE to estimate how many people would need evacuation should a similar tsunami affect this region again. Both the exposure and hazard layers have predefined keywords which are used by InaSAFE in order to run the correct impact function. These keywords are required in order to allow InaSAFE to correctly interpret the type of data in each layer. Examining each layer in turn, the keywords tell us from where the data was sourced, as well as the type of hazard or exposure the layer is defined as. At the top of the InaSAFE panel, we can see that the question has already been generated, based on the two layers we have in our map. In the event of the biggest tsunami in 100 years, how many people might need evacuation? With the question properly defined, we can go ahead and click Run. InaSAFE has now populated the panel with the results of our scenario, and a people which need evacuation layer has been added to the map. In order to give our map a bit more context, we're going to use InaSAFE's built-in OSM downloader tool to add roads and buildings to our map from the open source OpenStreetMap. Click on the OpenStreetMap downloader button. Choose a suitable location to save the data, add a file prefix if you wish, and click OK. With the data downloaded and roads and buildings layers added to the map, we now have a better picture of the effect that such a tsunami would have on the region's people and infrastructure. We can also hide the people layer in order to give the new people which need evacuation layer more prominence. As well as giving us useful geographic context, the OSM data can also be used directly in InaSAFE as exposure layers. We will now run a second scenario using the buildings data from OSM as the exposure layer. Hide the evacuation and roads layers and make sure that the question reads, in the event of the biggest tsunami in 100 years, how many buildings might be flooded? Click Run. With the impact function now complete, InaSAFE has added an estimated buildings affected layer to the map and has populated the InaSAFE panel with the calculated data. Looking at our map, we can see that all the buildings outside the tsunami impact zone are green. The buildings within the impact zone are coloured red to indicate that they will be affected. To make the buildings more clear, we can remove the tsunami impact layer. We can also re-add the roads layer. Zoom in to an affected area and use the Identify Feature tool to examine the data for a particular building. This data shows us the building's location as well as the depth of water at that location. The InaSAFE panel shows us the total number of buildings in the region and the total number which would be inundated should this tsunami occur again. It also returns an action checklist and notes which further assist disaster managers in preparing for such an event. Scrolling further down in the InaSAFE panel, we can also see that there is a detailed breakdown of the types of buildings which have been affected. This information can be printed via InaSAFE's print dialog. Select InaSAFE Portrait A4, click Open PDF, select a suitable save location and click Save. InaSAFE generates two files, one with a map detailing the affected regions, the other with the breakdown of data. For more training videos and further details about InaSAFE, please go to www.inasafe.org.